It's a pleasure to be here. I was delighted to be asked. It's an incredible event, and it's lovely to be amongst such like-minded people as well on a Saturday morning. Where else would you like to be? Normally in Perlis you'd be at a match or something, but this is just as good. So yeah, look, thanks again. What I'm going to do is talk to you a little bit about artificial intelligence. I know we're a little bit behind time. I won't make up that time, unfortunately, but I'll do my best. And even we can bring our Q&A out to the chats around the tea and coffee if we need to. So look, the artificial intelligence, it's the new teacher's pet. We all know that we're in an era where the pace of technology is rapidly changing and it's only accelerating as time goes on. And AI is an example of this. We've seen huge shifts in platforms, from the development of the calculator to the personal computer to the internet, the smart device. And AI is the next shift in education. It will not only change the entire world, but it's going to change the way we teach. In my session, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about, I suppose, the role of AI, its potential to revolutionize our learning experiences, discuss some of the practical applications, the benefits for teachers, the benefits for students, look at the challenges and concerns, because there is a bit of both, and finally to talk a little bit about our AI for Tea. It's an Erasmus project. When we think of AI, we often conjure up images of a utopian or dystopian world that have been, I suppose, sold to us by media, movies, TV shows. We might often think of R2-D2 and their antics from Star Wars, but there's many more like that, like Ex Machina, iRobot, Terminator, RoboCop, WALL-E. The list goes on and on and on. It's something that's been presented to us for decades. But this is an example of AGI, and it's just one type of artificial intelligence out there. And really, it is the holy grail of AI. But we are, researchers believe, decades away from something like this. The other type of AI is narrow AI, and it's the one we'd be all familiar with. It's the one that's in our lives as we speak. And it's all around us, and we're using it every day. And it is only the beginning. And the idea with narrow AI is to support or help humans with everyday tasks. If we to look at a definition of artificial intelligence, that's one. There's many out there, of course, but that one would say artificial intelligence is a simulation of human intelligence in machines that are programmed to perform tasks that normally require human intelligence, such as learning, decision making, and problem solving. And that was, of course, brought to you by ChatGPT. But look, all the definitions, they kind of have a common trend, and the big one really is that it's simulating human intelligence or human behavior through machines. One of many definitions out there, and we could all kind of come up with our own if we wanted to, and they would all be very different, but all have a similar kind of a theme or feel to them. AI, we're part of an AI revolution, and it's been kind of an invisible revolution in a way, because it's gradually seeped into our everyday lives in ways without us even realizing it. And again, we could all think of many ways it is in our everyday lives, but it fuels our vehicle navigation systems. It's in our smart devices, our smart homes, our Siri, our Google, Alexas. It's part of our social media and how we engage with the different social media platforms. It suggests content for us on Netflix and YouTube, Spotify. It identifies what we like before we even realize that we like it. It's part of our online shopping as well. It influences the way we engage in online shopping and the internet, the way we play video games. It's quietly shaping our financial institutions, and it's even part of our supply chains, the way we receive food from supermarkets, restaurants, or even industries or companies. So it is in our everyday lives, and if I was to ask the room, you would all come up with many different ways that it is already part of our current lives. And again, it's quietly seeped into those lives over time, similar to the workplace and to the biggest platforms that we use in education, Office 365 and Google Workspace. It's been part of those applications for quite some time. It helps us summarize our documents. It analyzes our spreadsheet, presents data to us. It helps automate our presentation design. It's just to make them look nicer, more appealing. It helps us compose our emails, finish our sentences before we even type them, and even suggest folders or files to share with people before we even realize that maybe we should be sharing these with this individual person or a group of people. And this is only the beginning. People believe it's only accelerating and it's only getting stronger, and there's no doubt about it. It is improving and getting better over time. Of course, look, it's the term of the day. I know Lawrence is doing a presentation on it later, but I won't be covering all of ChatGPT and what it can do. But it really, last November, it has sparked the interest and imagination of people because of how easy it is to use. Unlike other systems before, a simple plain language statement will allow us to generate content. It was the fastest platform to reach 1 million users, and it did so within a week. And that was because people were using it and sharing the way they were using it. We had people write me a poem, they might say, write me a recipe, generate me a workout plan. I have so many ingredients in my fridge, what can I make with these? Write me a best man speech, write me a love letter. People are using it in really creative, fun ways, and it sparked the interest of people as a result. And even in Ireland, it generated a lot of interest. And you can see the two big terms, and this is only of a couple of days ago, over the last 9 months, the top two rising phrases or search queries were ChatGPT with a space and without a space. So you can see the searches have gone up about nearly 5,000% in the last 9 months. If you were to look at the graph over time, you can see it was late November it was launched, and it has steadily increased over time. And ChatGPT goes hand in hand with AI, so people are searching ChatGPT, but they're also searching artificial intelligence. And again, this is based on the Irish context, and I always find these search trends very interesting because you can see the way different people are engaging, what's kind of trending, what's common, and the different parts of the country it's more popular than as well. But it is sparked interest, it's growing in interest, a little dip there at one stage, but it's kind of there in the background, and it will be with us forever more. Now, so what I would like to do is get a little bit of feedback from you. It's always nice to have a little Mentimeter, a little bit of engagement. So just to visit the Menti, couple of questions for you to answer to see, I suppose, are you currently using it, and to tell us the different ways you are using it. So I'll just give you a couple of minutes to engage with that. Perfect. Just looking at some of the feedback, you can see, yeah, still a lot of us have never used it, and that's very interesting. I suppose I use it, and I've been nearly everyday space. That's where I would personally fit in. But we can see that there are people engaging with it. Some people every single day that are using it. A lot of people nearly every day. So let's see how people are using it, minus the 13, of course. So you can see, don't use it, haven't used it, not yet. Definitely need to change. Very basic, introduce himself, what it can do. Assessment at school. Snapchat AI, teach students how to prompt, use generate ideas, documents. Intend on using it from today to design a workshop for AI for teachers. Write presentations, lesson plans, shortening long readings, great use of it. Writing the first line of code for pilot projects, assist in mundane tasks, forming a cohesive email, bullet points. Yeah, that's a lot how I use it as well. Discover all things useful, explore possible uses, shorten the time of a Google search. And that's a big one as well, where you used to trawl through different articles and page. You can just use ChatGPT and it'll collate loads of different ideas for you. So brilliant. Look, it's lovely to see how people are using it. But really, it is everywhere now. AI is absolutely everywhere. I know my feeds, my social media feeds are clogged up with AI. I suppose it is something I'm interested in, so it is out there. No. Go again. So that was Sundar at the Google I/O event. There was a very funny video on The Verge, their TikTok page. Didn't quite play there for me, but he literally said AI, AI, AI. It was a non-stop AI presentation, and it is everywhere at the moment. They launched Google Duet at the I/O, but they had lots of all their products, everything they were launching and talking about, there was some way connected to AI. And the same as I bet anyone who was there, any of the stands, even if they didn't really have much AI in their products and services, they just stuck it up because it's a trending word, it's interesting, everyone has to be involved in AI. And you can see the biggest things out there. So we have the Microsoft Copilot, that's the logo there at the top. Duet is the equivalent. We also have Duolingo. This is Khan Academy. They have also integrated into their applications. Duolingo are using it as a way to have model conversations with people who are trying to learn languages. Sal Khan, he talked about his new virtual tutor, Can Amigo. So it's basically will support students who are engaging with their content online. If I'm doing a maths problem and I make a mistake, the Can Amigo will tell me the way I made mistakes, present to me the different ways I could have solved the problem, offer me suggested solutions. And the same if I'm engaging in a video in Khan Academy, I can ask as a student, tell me a little bit more about that. Can you bring me a video about this? So it's there, a virtual assistant to support students on an ongoing basis. But really, it is everywhere. There's so many applications, and you could fill a screen with the amount of applications that are out there that can be used for educational purposes. And this is one I came across only not even a couple of days ago, yesterday. It's AIeducator.tools. That's a website for you. It's where they're going through different applications that have an educational focus or can be used for education. It's like a library, and they're kind of you can put in suggestions and they'll look into them and see if they're valid to put up on their site. So that's AIeducator.tools. But really it has sparked the debate, whether it is for good, it's for evil. Some people feel, it's just going to plagiarize, students will be just plagiarizing all the content and regurgitating content that they've got from ChatGPT. Some institutions are going as far as banning it completely, while others are embracing it and looking how it can be used to reassess the way they're currently assessing students. So there's different approaches, and all over the media you can see the same. We have people asking the questions, will this just mean students are going to plagiarize or copyright? What's the difference between AI and plagiarism? They'll ask the questions, what about pupil voice? What about pupils' ability to write essays? The debate is ongoing. Every single day you'll see a different article with a different viewpoint, and it's very interesting to see how they are approaching it. We're even going as far as Elon Musk and other tech leaders stating that we should slow down the development, that it's too fast, that they can't even keep up with it. But look, technology has been coming a part of our lives for a long time, as Michael said. Like when we had the calculator first invented, people said, God, this is going to ruin maths. Students are never going to understand how to solve basic sums. The same was true with the internet and Google. They felt the students would just simply research things and they won't learn things by heart. So now we have teachers adapting these tools and focusing more on the learning process. There still is a big emphasis, of course, on memorization and regurgitation for big exams, but there certainly is more emphasis on the learning process. So as educators, it'll be up to us to think and adapt how we can use these in an effective way for teaching and learning. So how can it support us as educators? And there is an endless list. And again, ChatGPT was a great place to source different ideas for this. But it can enhance instructional materials. So if we are trying to find suitable resources, it can sift through a library of resources, websites, video content, and pick out the best ones for the lesson content we are trying to present. So it'll save us time. We won't need to spend time researching. It'll do it for us at the click of a button. It'll automate administrative tasks. We already have machines or computers that can auto-correct multi-choice questions, but now we'll be able to do that for essays and stories. Poems, it'll do all that for us. It'll generate lesson plans for us, schemes of work, our timetables. The lit jobs those mundane tasks that we don't enjoy doing, it'll do those for us. It'll analyze data and give us insights onto how our students are performing and offer suggestions on content we should be presenting to fill in those gaps that students might have. It'll help our professional development. So it might say, look, there's gaps here in how your students are understanding a certain topic. You need to spend more time teaching this. We'll offer alternative strategies or solutions how we can approach a lesson to make it more impactful on your pupils. And of course, the time saving and efficiency as well. So time is the most precious commodity of all, and we often say it. How often do we say it in schools? We don't have much time. There's been, as all the policies that Mike, you had on the screen a few minutes ago, the initiative overload that were presented within schools. This is a way now to take back some of that time and to do the things that AI cannot do, and that's stand in front of a class, teach students, and have that personal touch. And have the time that the students can engage in collaborative activities, discussions, debate, all those more meaningful, enjoyable things that students enjoy doing, that are more impactful, time can be spent on those. AI will never replace the teacher because it'll never have that human touch and personal interface that we have with our students. And that's so important in schools. The same is true for our students. It can support our students in many different ways. It can provide personalized and adaptive learning platforms that students can engage with it. It'll design itself to suit the pace that a student works on. It'll present the content in a way that they are most suitable to their learning preferences. It'll identify gaps, ways they can improve, accelerate different areas, revise different topics that they might be struggling with. It can also be that intelligent tutor, like what Khan Amigo have developed, a way for students to have the best tutor in the world and have it available to every single person. So it's there at the click of a button to present us with every answer, every solution, give us the different ways and strategies to solve problems. And it gives access to education for all, where we might have students in areas where they may not have access to the traditional educational systems. It'll now open up the doors so everyone can access an equal education. Assistive technologies, we're all already familiar with how assistive technologies support our students, voice to text, text to speech as well. There's so many ways, practical applications of how AI can support pupils who are most at need with assistive technology to help them be part of an education system like everyone else. Finally, intelligent study tools. So it can help me as a student, give me tips and advice how to make better use of my time as a student, present a schedule for me so I can engage with content in a more meaningful way at a time that might suit my learning style better. Of course, with the positives, there'll always be the negatives. There will be challenges and concerns when we're implementing new technology like this into education, and particularly with data and privacy and security concerns. Because these AI systems, they gather and collect and store a vast amount of data based on our pupils. We need to be incredibly vigilant and make sure that these systems are kept safe and secure. AI systems also can be used for ransomware and for hacking, so we need to ensure that we keep this data safe. PDST, Technology and Education, have a cyber security help page on their site, so it's important that schools are aware of that and they're vigilant on how they are storing and keeping data safe. The next one is algorithmic bias. So we will not have an unbiased AI system if we do not feed it unbiased data. So it's important that we validate the data that we are presenting or training the AI systems with to ensure that it is not presenting biased information to students. Access technology, so I did say that every student would have equal access to education. There is a digital divide out there. It still exists. Students in one school down the road may not have the same level of technology as another. So it will be important that we remove that divide, that students have equal access to all technologies to ensure they can access these incredible tutors. But that is not possible in some cases because we need to provide the funding and infrastructures have to be there for these pupils. Ethical considerations as well. So the EU have developed the ethical guidelines for the use of AI for teaching, learning, assessment. It's important to be aware of these guidelines when we are using AI in education. And finally, teacher training. So like anything, when we're implementing something new, we might have people who are afraid of technology. It's important that they are provided with the necessary training to use these tools and know how to use them effectively, because new technology, it scares people. It's important that we give it the right time and teachers the right space to engage with this technology to ensure they're adequately trained to use it. Another challenge, of course, is fake news 2.0. Devil might wear Prada, but the Pope wears Balenciaga. So this is an image that went viral, an AI-generated image, and there's many, many out there then as well. These are the new types of fake news. Before, people might have been drawn in with a fake news article, but you can see how these images look so, so real. Not only can AI generate these images, but it also can disseminate these images to the most vulnerable people who will grab hold of them and believe them as fact. You can even see yesterday it was the Irish Times, I think it was Irish Times, yeah. They had an AI-generated image of an author, and straight away people picked up on this. But not everyone will. Like, people will read articles and think they are real. The article and the image has been taken down since, but that is just the start. Like, so when you're using like the most reputable newspaper in Ireland is using AI-generated content, what can we believe? Who can we believe? So this is only the start of it, and we need to be aware of it. Is it reliable? So you think, and I thought as well, like, you type in something, you expect, yeah, this is fact, like, but it's not. ChatGPT does not generate fact. It tries to mimic language that looks real. So I'm a Galwegian living in Tullamore, and recently our minors had a shocking result against Offaly. Not our minors, our under-20s. Our minors won Leinster yesterday. But the under-20s lost to Offaly, and and a friend of mine put in our group, his type friend of ours says, do you remember when was the last time somebody did this, or how many goals this person go? So normally you'd have to drive through page after page to find the answer. So I went straight to ChatGPT, said, this is going to give me the answer. And I said, ha ha ha, this is it. This is the last time they won it. Copied and pasted this in. But he was very quick to point out, Galway were not in the Leinster Senior Hurling Championship in 2001. So then I asked the question, when did they join the Leinster Hurling Championship? And he was right. It wasn't 2001, it was 2009. So I asked the question again, when was the last time Offaly beat Galway in the championship hurling in minor, done 2021 senior? And again, I apologised, very human-like, for giving me a wrong answer. And he gave me what I believed second time round was the right answer, until on closer inspection, that result would actually reflect that Galway should have won the match. So again, I had egg on my face when I popped that in the group. So I asked it, was it sure? And again, it apologised, which was very, very polite. And this time it gave me the answer of 2008. You know, yeah, that could be right. But then again, I was wrong. So I said, oh yeah, this is the reason I was wrong. The qualifiers, there was no qualifiers back in 2008. And Offaly got to the All-Ireland semi-final that year, but Galway on the other side of the draw against Cork. So I said, my friend said it was 1994, your friend is correct. So after our final interactions, it was never going to give me the right answer. I had to tell it the right answer, and it said, of course your friend is correct. So it is not reliable, and students will take this kind of stuff as fact, just like I did. So if I'm going to believe it, you need to be sure the students will as well. ChatGPT would say itself, and I'm sure you've put in questions, and it'll say, you know, use multiple sources or check up this other sources. That has come up for me in different times, not this time, but it does say that. It says, do not take my answers as fact, and we need to be aware of that. But these systems are only getting better. Also, if you were to ask it some simple multiplication that you can work out in a calculator, and again, it goes through the process and you think, oh yeah, that looks all right, but pop it in a calculator and the answers are very different. You can see the two answers there. The one is right, one is wrong. But what it does is it knows that a number that ends in 5 multiplied by a number that ends in 2 will end in a 0. It also knows similar things and facts relating to the beginning or the start of numbers. But it's the numbers in the middle that it cannot, there's no way for it to come up with a pattern to do that. So again, you would think that it can do multiplication like that, but it can't. It just tries to mimic what it should look like. So again, just to be aware, it is not reliable. It is not a reliable source of information. Something we've been saying to students for quite some time. Use multiple sources of information. Not everything you should see on the internet is reliable. Always double check your sources. But despite these AI systems having their limitations and our concerns about them, they are incredible tools. There's incredible ways we can use them to benefit ourselves as teachers, but also to benefit our pupils. Our AI for T project, it's an Erasmus Plus project, a little bit ahead of its time even. 2001 is when it first began, a 36-month project, with participating countries from across Europe. It's where we're looking at different AI tools. We had 2 cohorts of post-primary teachers looking at maths and French, different AI tools They tried them out in their classrooms to see how effective they were. We're currently at the evaluation phase of that, and we hope to develop further resources and training courses using AI for both primary and post-primary schools. So watch this space. It's a really exciting project, and it's interesting to see how it will develop. Other resources, I suppose, I would like to highlight before we wrap up are just we have online courses available through PDST, technologyandeducation.ie. Our projects and initiatives page, you can visit there and see a little bit about the AI for T project to learn more. It's just there at the bottom there on the right hand side. A Rebel is there as well for anyone who's involved in that one. And then finally, our other page is the one I mentioned earlier about the data and cybersecurity section of the website. And I know that will be kind of discussed a little bit later, but just to be familiar with data and cybersecurity for your school to develop and support pupils. So just going to finish up with one final quote here. It's just to state that computers are incredibly fast, accurate and stupid. Humans are incredibly slow, inaccurate and brilliant together. They are powerful beyond imagination. There's a little bit of uncertainty where that quote it came from. Some believe it is Einstein, so I just want to make that clear. But they believe it is Einstein, but there's some questions if it came from somewhere else as well. And it actually didn't come from ChatGPT. This is a real source. So it's just an interesting one. And thanks a million for your engagement, your interest, and I look forward to chatting to you a little bit later. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I might know the answers, but I'll try my best.